Donald Trump's going to hold a fundraiser in Florida this week. The event will be hosted by two of his possible candidates for Treasury Secretary, hedge fund manager John Paulson and investor Scott Bessent. Monica Crowley is here with me. She used to work at the Treasury. She knows a lot about this. You follow it closely. Do you think that Trump would pick a diverse candidate, a woman or a minority?
Well, I think President Trump wants what's best for the country and wants what's best for the position. So if that happens to be a woman or a person of color, he will certainly make that determination, but he wants the best person for the job.
But it's meritocracy, not identity.
Absolutely.
All the way with Trump.
All the way throughout the entire cabinet and all the way through his administration. I will tell you one criteria: no more never-Trumpers, no more deep state operatives, and no more Obama holdovers. No more saboteurs the way we had in the first term.
Okay, that's the Treasury Secretary. Who do you think he might pick for vice president? Would he go down the diversity route there? Would he ever touch that?
Again, his criteria for vice president is, number one, somebody who could do the top job if necessary. Number two, someone who is loyal not simply to him, but to the America First agenda, who will support it and not undermine it. And number three, I think somebody who can actually help him win, whether that means delivering a state or a certain constituency like suburban women.
Sarah Huckabee Sanders?
Could very well be. I think there are a lot of very qualified people who are under consideration, Stuart.
I understand that. You're a diplomat, actually, aren't you? You should go to the State Department. Biden campaign, Biden believes that Florida is winnable for the Democrats in November. They say the abortion ban is enough to drive voters to Biden. What do you say?
I think that's a bit of a pipe dream. I think what we saw in the last two election cycles is that Florida is a very strong red state. So Ron DeSantis won for governor by about 20 points. And then Donald Trump, back in 2020, also totally dominated the state of Florida. And remember, a lot of conservatives, Republicans, disaffected Democrats, disaffected independents have left places like New York, like the Northeast, because they're so fed up with what's going on in these blue states. They have moved to Florida and made that red state even redder.
Is there any state which Trump could lose because of the abortion issue?
You know, when you look at the polls now, Stuart, and I saw a new Gallup poll yesterday, abortion is way down the list of issue priorities for the American people. There are so many immediate and urgent issues that are pressing down on them and crushing their lives and their ability to even feed their families, like illegal immigration, the wide open border that's creating a tremendous drain on our resources, inflation, jobs, gas prices. All of those issues are dominating for the American people, and an issue like abortion is way down the list.
Quick question to David Barnson. Do you think abortion is big enough for Trump to lose Florida on this?
Not even close. There's no way he can lose Florida. Biden will win Florida as soon as Trump wins California. Both things are not going to happen. There are other issues in these battleground states that are very, very tight. Wisconsin, Michigan, sure. Pennsylvania, those are the states that are going to determine this election.
We seem to have agreement on this set today. That's pretty good, I'd say. Monica, thanks for being here.
Always a pleasure. Thanks.
Stick around for one more 10-minute block.